This is News Conference Extra with Conan Nolan.
Good morning and welcome to News Conference Extra, a special segment of Today in LA Weekend. Joining us, Jessica Levison of Loyola Law School and Carla Marinucci with Politico.com. About 2020 and some of the races we're going to see next year. It's going to be very exciting. Very troubling. Let's talk a couple of local races. 25th Congressional District of California, that's Katie Hill's seat. We have a number of individuals running for that seat now, including the former incumbent. Is this an opportunity, do you think, for the Republicans to pick one back up, or is the suburban Republican women left and they're not coming back?
In that district, the suburban Republican women drove the blue wave that brought Katie Hill to Congress. I think it's unlikely, particularly with the Republicans, with the choices on the Republican side, including George Papadopoulos. He is a walking poster child for the Trump administration and some of the more outrageous aspects of the Trump administration, being that he served time for lying to the FBI. So on that aspect, I think the Democratic Party is going to use his candidacy as a wedge, as a cudgel in that area, in that district, reminding voters of that. On the Democratic side, you've got a circular firing squad going on as well. Christy Smith, the Assemblywoman, is picking up every endorsement of the Democratic establishment in this state, pretty much. And you have sort of an upstart candidate, the co-founder of the Young Turks, the liberal media empire, Cenk Uygur, who has made some very controversial statements, who was endorsed by Bernie Sanders in what many feel was a big misstep because of controversial, misogynist, homophobic, racist statements he's made as a host on a media empire. That Sanders has withdrawn that, but the fact is, boy, this race is going to be wild and one to watch.
Talking about the Orange County Republican seats that were flipped over in 2018, is there any concern from the Harley Rutas or the Katie Porters or the Gil Cisneroses that impeachment's going to backfire on them the way the Republicans say that they will?
Absolutely. I think that at this point in time, we don't know exactly how impeachment is going to play. I think that both sides are going to use it for the 2020 election. I think Republicans are going to, as they've been very consistent about, essentially parroting the talking points that this is a travesty for the country, this is a witch hunt, they've mistreated the president in a way that no other party has. I think Democrats will say, why are Republicans being so recalcitrant? We see with our own eyes a president who has abused power, who's corrupt. The question is, will it bring the bases out? Will it bring the kind of unlikely voters? Will they want to hear about this? I tend to think that impeachment, by the time we get to the elections, it's not going to be the first, second, or third thing for most people. They want to know about health care. They want to know about immigration. They want to know about taxes. It's not something that affects their daily lives.
Let's talk about the presidential campaign. Supposing somebody wins Iowa, who's different than whoever wins New Hampshire, who's different than whoever wins South Carolina, who may be different from whoever wins Nevada, then all of a sudden, California and Super Tuesday becomes the primary. Carla,
that's right. And this is why the Michael Bloomberg candidacy is going to be very, very interesting for California, which is the biggest cache of delegates going into that Super Tuesday. Bloomberg is throwing money all over California. You can see here in L.A. Uber drivers with mobile ads of Michael Bloomberg on the top of their cars. And he's able to reach Californians in a way that no other candidates has, because he has so much money. And he's betting on that to win that California, and we'll see how it plays out. We've seen billionaire candidates come and go before in California, but that's going to be, I think, this is a whole new era. And Bloomberg may have also that same moderate middle lane that might appeal to voters.
A guy like Bloomberg, you have to see some failure on the part of Joe Biden in order for him to have traction. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely, because Michael Bloomberg thought there was space for him. He thought there was a lane. He thought there was a moment. And if Vice President Biden had a commanding lead and people thought that he's bulletproof and people didn't think that, frankly, it was a little bit shaky and that maybe he had some issues, that his time had passed, then you don't see Michael Bloomberg. And so Michael Bloomberg has the ability to do what you need to do in California, which is obviously to buy ads. the way you campaign in California is totally different from Iowa and New Hampshire, where people expect to meet you. In California, people expect to meet you on their TV screens, on their computer ads, on their radio. So the fact that he saw daylight, that he thought there was an opening, shows you that at least he thought there was a weakness in the upper echelon.
But the way California Democrats divide delegates out of their primary is by congressional district.
That's right.
So is there a possibility that they will have candidates who do regional campaigns?
And we've already seen that. I mean, we've seen Pete Buttigieg go out to the Central Valley to do town halls. But Bernie Sanders in the last week has been up and down California, in Venice with AOC this week. I mean, we are going to watch battles in every one of these congressional districts for the proportional reward of voters, which makes California a really interesting place to see how it's going to all play out, how the Bay Area and LA are going to play so big in this. But let's not forget those districts in the Central Valley. And I think some of the Democrats are already going there and eyeing those as pickup places. And Buttigieg is just one example of a candidate that's already done that.
Jessica Levison of Loyola Law School, Carla Marinucci of Politico, thank you very much for joining us.